Okay, so what we're going to talk today about is some of the questions that we get at shows or if we're on the phone with customers. People generally asking, why Rolf Prima? You know, what's special? And probably the first thing they're going to ask is, I see you guys do paired spokes. What is it? Why do you do it? And if it's so good, how come everyone else doesn't do it? The last one's an easy one. We have a patent on pairing the spokes. So one of the things you'll notice on this wheel is that the spokes come from the right side of the hub and the left side of the hub. So these spokes, as you tighten them, tighten this right spoke, it's going to pull the rim to the right. If you tighten this left spoke, it's going to pull the rim to the left. So if these spokes are evenly spaced about the rim's going to go right and then left and then right and then left, kind of in a snaking pattern as you increase spoke tension. That's because those lateral forces are pulling the rim. If you pair the spokes at the rim, the right force is counteracted by the left force. So you can tighten the right spoke and the left spoke. You tighten them the same amount, the rim's staying dead straight. That's the real benefit to pairing the spokes at the rim. Typically, if you've got a, take this exact same rim. You want to build it with 16 spokes, but you space them evenly. As you bring spoke tension up, you're going to have that issue with the spokes. So it's going to pull right and then left and right and left. It does this. So what do? Some manufacturers bring spoke tension down. Because if you bring spoke tension down, well then it doesn't pull so hard left or right. So essentially you can get rid of the problem that way. But then the wheel's kind of spongy and doesn't feel real snappy when you're coming out of a corner or when you stand up to pedal hard up a hill or a sprint. You could also add more spokes. And some people do that, and what that does is basically it's more weight and it's less aerodynamic. The other thing you can do is make the rim heavier. If you make the rim heavier, a little bit stiffer, it'll resist these sideways pulls a little bit better. But the nice thing about pairing the spokes is that we don't have to do that. We pretty much can take essentially almost any rim, and we can choose the number of spokes, and we can set the spoke tension. We can get the spokes to be exactly in the sweet spot for tension, because each spoke does have a specific tension range at which it makes the wheel the stiffest. If you don't tighten it enough, the wheel's pretty soft and spongy. If you tighten it too much, it actually can also be not stiff. So there's a really specific range for each spoke that you want to stay within. Because we pair the spokes, we don't really have to worry about those lateral forces because they're offset here at the rim. So we can set the spoke tension to be dead middle of the sweet spot, which is pretty much what we do for everything. And that's a real advantage that we have that everyone can't do. Probably another advantage, it's not just the technology. The technology is quite a bit, but if you have a great idea but you don't build it well, then it doesn't really matter. One of the things we do is we build 100% of our wheels here in Eugene, Oregon. So what that means for us is not to say you can't build a wheel by machine, people do it. You can't build a precision wheel by machine. And we consider even our entry-level wheels to be precision wheels.